Good evening. This is the Wednesday, July 26, 2017 meeting of the Finance Committee. 7 o'clock, we're starting on time. Our agenda tonight, we're going to vote on some what should be final transfers, and then we're going to have an update on I guess the approved state budget. We don't have any minutes tonight, so nothing to contemplate there, and then we'll adjourn, so hopefully this will be a fairly quick meeting. So let's get right to this. We've got a few transfers, and then I think maybe a couple of brief comments on the salt and calcium before we go into those. Obviously, we've got a lot of transfers on those. So the first transfer I have in front of me, this is under treasurer. The amount requested is $2,236.65 for bill printing. This is to offset a year-end account deficit. This is taken from the tax title account. Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you. Our next transfer, this is under inspectional services. Amount requested $295.34. This is to the clerical shared account to offset a year-end account deficit from the assistant salary.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you. Our next transfer, this is under the Parks Department. Amount requested $691.98 to the seasonal account. This is to offset another year-end account deficit. This is coming from the Labor Parks account.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you. Okay, under Package Golf Course, we've got... We'll take these in order. First transfer, this is to the seasonal golf account, also to cover deficit from the fuel and utilities. Amount requested $97.58.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. The next three are all going to the banking charges account. I'll accept a motion to take the three as one.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. First one, this is $921.33 from fuel and utilities. That'll close that account out. The next transfer, $118.08 from equipment. That'll clear that account out. And the final transfer on this page to banking charges, $28.48 from the fertilizer materials account. So we're moving around $1,100, somewhere around there, Ed. Any questions or comments on this?
No, motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you. All right. So the next several transfers, and I think they add up to just under $40,000, Ed?
Should add up to $39,786.86.
Okay. This is all going to salt and calcium. This is to cover a year-end deficit we had there. This will take care of?
This will take care of the deficit that we were showing on the books as of 6/30/17, which means we don't have to raise a sum of money on next year's recap sheet.
That's great.
So we're able to manage it within some surplus funds in the FY17 budget.
And just to add to that, I know from our last meeting, Kim had asked a question if we could basically be taking from funds all over the operating budget as they may be available, and we're truly taking funds from all over the operating budget to take care of this. So there'll be some, I'll call it strange transfers from strange areas to cover this. The first transfer page I have has 1, 2, 3, 4 transfers. This is under police. I'll accept a motion to take the 4 as one.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you. The first transfer, this is court time, $6,000 to salt and calcium, $4,900 from overtime, $1,000 from physical fitness bonus, and $2,700 from health and wellness, all to salt and calcium.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. And if anyone wants to ask why there may be some balances left in any of these accounts, we'll just slow this right down and discuss that, so feel free. Next transfer, this is under the fire department, also to salt and calcium, from the firefighters account, $4,300.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you. Under legal, Amount requested also to Salt and Calcium, $10,000. This is from special litigation that'll close that account out.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you. From Baypath to Salt and Calcium, this is under their assessment that they have to us, $10,886.86.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. And this one?
No.
Okay. There's a balance left on that. All right. Under manager, this is an advertising. Okay, so that doesn't take care of all of them, right? There's a couple other,
The snow and ice?
there's a couple others further in, right? We'll keep taking that in order. Or is that all of them?
I think that's all of them.
Oh, good, okay. Even better. Okay, under manager, amount requested, this is going to the advertising account for, to offset a year-end deficit, $387.33 from professional services.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you. Also under manager, this is to electricity. Amount requested $400.47, also from professional services.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Under legal, this is going to the general counsel account to offset a year-end deficit. Amount requested $2,491.10 from the negotiator account.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Okay, a reserve account transfer. This is for equipment rental. Amount requested $485.21.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted. That was under town hall equipment rental. Reserve account transfer, this is also town hall building maintenance. Amount requested $1,249.41. This is also for year-end deficit.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted. Okay, also under town hall, equipment maintenance, amount requested $2,700.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted.
Mr. Chairman, just an update. After those three transfers,
Yeah.
the year-end balance in the reserve account would be $1,976.97.
Okay, great.
We didn't clean it out entirely, but there is a small balance left.
And obviously, that's less going to free cash. Correct.
Correct.
Let's see, we've got several transfers. This is under general services. First two we'll take separately. The first transfer, this is to the streetlights account to offset a year-end deficit, $371.87 from insurance and bonds.
Question?
Yep.
To Eddie, I see in the next page, there are a lot of transfers into streetlights too. Is that related to electricity costs?
It's related to our net metering agreement. When we first entered the agreement last year, we were getting a higher return or credit from that solar array. I was hoping to get some hard numbers to you for tonight through our energy manager, but he was not available this afternoon. I think the value that we're getting is half of what we got when we first entered the agreement. So it is market-driven. We're hoping that it will rebound, but certainly if we were to receive the credits that we were receiving 6 months, even a year ago, we wouldn't be addressing these deficits right now. So it's something that we're going to have to watch. Certainly, I think our contract with currently Constellation Energy is coming up this fall. So we're going to get a new contract for either a year or up to 3 years, all depending on the market, all depending on the rates, and what impact that will have on the appropriation, we don't know at this point in time. So we may have to do a correction to that appropriation if in fact the rates should go up and we're not receiving the amount of credits that we received roughly 6 months to a year ago.
So did we plan the budget for the fiscal 19 with the higher amount that we expected? You know, for...
We were anticipating basically maintaining that
Okay.
level of credit
All right.
throughout the year. So what we do is we take a 12-month average,
Yep.
and then we estimate the following year based upon those actual expenditures. So there's been a deviation from that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, do we have a motion on this?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, so voted. Thank you. Let's see, next, transfers to office supplies. This is also under general services to offset a year-end deficit. Amount requested $1,050.28, also from insurance and bonds.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Okay, the next two are going to the electricity account. I'll accept a motion to take these as one.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. First one is from insurance and bonds. This is once again to electricity. Amount requested $8,777.85. And the second transfer from water sewer heating, amount requested $14,818.81.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you. Ed, do you have any idea with all of these transfers? I know several going to electricity, how much we're actually moving
The
over?
electricity account as of June 30th was in a deficit balance by $23,997.13.
Yeah.
Streetlights was in a deficit balance by $5,544.08.
Okay. And our next year budget, you said we could be under some duress on
So
those?
I don't have my budget book with me, but my recollection is that it was level funded.
Yeah,
So we may have to make a correction at the fall town meeting if in fact those credits do not rebound to the levels they were 6 months ago.
all right, thank you. Our next set of transfers, actually our final set, this is also under general services. The first transfer is to the hydrant rental. Amount requested $14 from the clerical committee.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Okay. The next four are all going to streetlights. I'll accept a motion to take these four as one.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so voted. Thank you. Okay, the first one is for $1,111.20 from the clerical committee. Second one, $1,394.45 from advertising. The third transfer, $1,908.98 from telephone. And the final transfer, $757.58 from the gas, oil, diesel. This is all going to streetlights account.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so voted. Thank you. So that concludes the transfers. So we should be done with those, right? Excellent.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
Just a quick comment. I guess my compliments to town administration for being able to move those money from accounts to cover things like that, that there's not, I think there's a misnomer out there that public agencies tend to just spend up whatever's in their budget so that the following year when they put in for their departmental budgets, they don't have to, say, well, we didn't utilize this, therefore we should have spent it. So the fact that there was some monies and the town was willing to take the time to move stuff around to cover shortages in other areas, that's a compliment to you folks.
Thank you, much
Yeah.
appreciated.
Definitely. I was just looking back at the police transfer over, so I know we had a late June transfer, early June transfer into court time, didn't we? So there was some
That
extra
was
there?
from within their own budget.
Oh, okay.
But the majority of those funds that are showing as surplus actually relate to several IODs, and we we get a reimbursement from the insurance company. So we're not paying out 100% of that cost. So as a result of that, they have an accumulation of
Okay.
funds.
I just thought that was worth noting where we moved 10, 13 or so thousand dollars from the police budget on that. Okay, great. At this point, I think we have a sort of final state budget. Can you fill us in on what's going on?
So, sure, I'd be happy to talk about it.
Thank
We
you.
did receive our cherry sheet numbers either late last week or Monday of this week. I don't recall. But anyway, I prepared, I think it was last week, because I think we sent this off to you.
Yep.
So what we estimated going into town meeting versus the final cherry sheet numbers. If we look at the cherry sheet state aid, and that should be AID, not AIDE. Based upon the final numbers, we had an increase of $59,479, and that's primarily in the area of Chapter 70. There was an increase that came out of conference committee, not as high as the Senate, but the conference committee version was beneficial to Auburn. Although the cherry sheet assessments, and these are charges we absorb for things like school choice and charter school tuitions and things of that nature, our estimates were lower than what the cherry sheet actuals are, so that's an additional expense we have to pick up. And the cherry sheet offsets was a reduction of $10,240. So if we net all that out, we have a net gain from where we were in May of $11,494. Now, that being said, it was conveyed to us through the MMA that the state revenue, they received a shortfall in fiscal 2017 of about $460 million. So we were, not knowing how they were going to address that, we thought maybe the final cherry sheet numbers would reduce unrestricted local aid and all immunities would take a hit to absorb a portion of that 460. That was not done. I think the governor proposed a Medicaid assessment fee through corporate and private companies. For those individuals that may be on Mass Health, they would absorb a fee because they're not offering health insurance. That would raise an additional, I believe, $300 and some odd million. The House and the Senate, I believe, vetoed. No, it was in the governor's budget. Went to the House. I don't think it was in the final version, but went back to the governor and he sent it back to the House, asking them to act on it in 60 days. So what that means going forward, we don't know. Certainly there is still a hole that needs to be addressed some way, somehow. I don't know what that means for Auburn or any other community. Hopefully, we'll know that when we go to town meeting. There could be some 9C cuts coming if, in fact, the governor's proposal is not acted on in some way, or there are other revenue sources identified that will offset a known deficit for 17 and a potential deficit for 18, which would add on to that $461 million. So I think we're in good shape as far as what our cherry sheet numbers are showing now as approved by town meeting. What we're going to do for the fall town meeting is really not known at this time.
Is there a strategy on when we're going to have the fall town meeting? And is that going to take the 60 days into
We're
it?
meeting with the department heads to have those discussions tomorrow. We're probably looking latter part of October, early November.
Usual.
The usual.
Okay, good. That's fine. Any other questions? So it's not really a final budget then, right?
Right. Mr. Chairman, if I could just update you on the status of where we are for 17, and this is what we presented to Standard & Poor's today, just to give you a sense as to how we did for 17. Although these numbers are not certified, and although we did not close out, our estimates right now are showing a favorable change in undesignated fund balance, the general fund, which is used to compute our free cash, a net gain of 1.34 million. That would put our undesignated fund balance at roughly 11.6 million. Based upon that, my calculation for free cash is roughly 1.353 million. Now, that all depends on how DOR rules on some of our revenue deficits. Normally, they'll give us a revenue accrual credit for monies that we receive after June 30th for federal and state grants as well as police detail. Some of those accounts are typically showing in the red because the revenue is not caught up. But in the past, it allowed us to take credit for those receipts received up until the time we file our closing statements. So it could be a little higher than that, could be lower than that, but that's just a ballpark. That's just to give you an idea of where we will be. Now, based upon our free cash policy, we're allowed to use 50% of that net gain, which would be approximately $675,000 that we could earmark for OPEB, stabilization, or any other one-time capital need. But we don't have to go that route if we choose not to.
Does town administration have a strategy at this point?
I think that's part of the discussion we're going to have with the department heads tomorrow, is to get a sense as to whether there's any additional need going to the fall town meeting. I can tell you on the capital side, most of our capital needs have been met. We, as the department heads, is there a desire to borrow any additional funds as a result of a question that was asked to us by Standard & Poor's above and beyond the 5-year capital plan? And for the most part, no. So we're going to commence these discussions tomorrow at a meeting at 9 o'clock and continue those discussions in the coming weeks leading up to a fall town meeting. So if there's anything of significance, certainly we'll pass it along to you just to let you know what may be coming down the pike.
Would it be over our jurisdiction to be part of those conversations at some point in terms of our citizens' thoughts regarding use of X money for X thing versus another thing or not?
I would suggest that we identify the need first, just to see if there is a need for a portion of free cash. Quite honestly, I think we made our position known that we would like to continue to build up our reserves, whether it be OPEB or stabilization, to address a known liability in OPEB and to protect the town in the future by building up our stabilization that we could draw on if in fact other revenue sources are impacted, whether it be state aid or any other revenue source. So it provides a rainy day fund for to protect our financial stability down the road.
Okay. Well, this is the first time we'll be dealing with this, so that's kind of why I asked the question in terms of we're going to be
Right.
just at the end of the conversation or somewhere before that. So just something to think about.
I think as chair, we can have a discussion. I can fill you in as to, you know, what becomes known to us in the coming weeks and make a decision on when we want to bring it to your body.
All right, then. I appreciate the update. We normally kind of go dormant for a good part of the summer. I don't see a need for us to meet until, I would say, the end of the summer, and I don't even know what that would be necessarily for. So we'll leave things open, certainly through August, unless an emergency comes up. Which,
Yeah, I don't expect to call for a meeting, you know, before September anyway. I mean, we do have some flexibility in the early months if something should arise. But unless that should happen, I don't see a need to meet.
Sure. Okay, great. No, that's good to hear, and hopefully you have as quiet a summer as we do. Any other final comments or questions, and then we'll go on into the meeting. All right, so I'll accept a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so voted. Thank you. Have a good summer.